Next Bank is proud to sponsor Digital Weather Desk with local meteorologist Jared Floyd.
The Digital Weather Desk is your local source for the latest weather information to help keep you and your family safe and to plan your week. You can follow us on our social media platforms, download our app, and you can also find us at digitalweatherdesk.com. The Digital Weather Desk,
Powered by Century Next Bank.
Hey everybody, good morning and welcome in. And thanks so much for taking time out of this Wednesday to get updated on the forecast, which does have some small wrinkles in it over the next 24 hours or so. Let's take a look at I-20 across Monroe and West Monroe. These traffic cameras, courtesy of the Louisiana Department, LADOTD, Department of Transportation and Development. It's just faster to say LADOTD. And again, everything looks to be moving smoothly this morning. If you're wondering, why has Jared got his fancy clothes on? I'm speaking with the Sterlington Business Alliance in about a little less than an hour, so we gotta speed things up here. And then I will be joining the Monroe Chamber tomorrow morning for coffee and conversations. That's at 8, so our stream tomorrow morning will probably even be a little bit earlier than this. Temperatures across the area not quite as cool as where we've been encountering them, but we will be back below freezing tomorrow morning. This is kind of a one-off with most of us in the mid to upper 40s. Cloud cover and the southwesterly winds have been persistent through the morning hours. Dew points climbing. We evaporated a lot of rainfall into the atmosphere yesterday and last night. So the dew point's climbing, and that also allowed for us to actually get some rain down to the surface. We'll look at some of the rain totals in just a minute, and while I'm saying that, let's go ahead and pull up the Mesonet now so I can have those numbers for me in just a second. Wind speeds, again, out of the southwest, a bit breezy at times along the Mississippi Valley. As the front makes its way through the area tonight, we expect those, or through the daytime hours today, rather, northwesterly winds. So we'll shift those winds from the southwest to the northwest, generally in the 10 to 20 mile an hour range. A lot of us will probably hover right in the midpoint around 15 miles per hour through the afternoon. Some higher gusts can't be ruled out, so it'll be a breezy afternoon, not necessarily overly windy, but it'll get your attention if you step outside for a brief period of time today. Check our rain totals over the last 12 hours. Of course, these are always considered unofficial and radar estimated, but a look at some of the other rain totals from the Louisiana Mesonet, which is operated by the University of Louisiana Monroe, and most of these numbers kind of fall in pretty close. 0.06 of an inch of rain at the Monroe Airport, or excuse me, at ULM. 0.03 of an inch of rain in Eris, Colfax, 0.01 of an inch of rain, Sicily Island, 0.13 of an inch of rain. Wait a minute, I'm lying. Colfax so far is at about 0.14 of an inch of rainfall because they had some rain yesterday. Sicily Island actually is probably the only spot in our area that's over 1/4 of an inch of rain from the numbers that I'm seeing. But most of the numbers, Columbia, 0.15 of an inch of rain. So most of us between a few hundredths of an inch of rain to maybe 1/10 or 2/10 of an inch of rainfall. Not much, but measurable. And again, any rain's good rain at this point. Most of that rain falling along and south of the I-20 corridor. Check the infrared satellite this morning. May Matus, good morning. Thank you so much for joining in. Our usual suspects. I like getting familiar with names and faces that join the streams on a regular basis. I like that. And for those that are just joining us for the first time, feel free to hop in and say hello. If you can only join us on an infrequent basis, or if you can just join us after the fact, after these are recorded, that's totally fine too. As long as you're staying up to date with weather, we're accomplishing the mission. Infrared satellite, you can kind of draw out the cloud, the cold front and the boundary. It's kind of embedded within some of this cloud cover that you're seeing move through the region, but it just teeters to our northwest right now. I think the rain shield associated with it kind of gives us the better idea of where the boundary is setting up. Susie and Claudia, good morning to you as well. So you can see the showers from late last night and early this morning. Those continue to advance southward. If you're traveling toward Alexandria or Lafayette or something like that this morning, most of these will probably be gone by the time you get there, and if you do run into them, they are likely to stay fairly light. Of course, your radar product's always made possible by Brown's Roofing. Schedule your free roof inspection at brownsroofingla.com. And your Futurecast is made possible by Bayou Power Sports. I-20 frontage road in Monroe shows the boundary making its way through the area. Outside chance as the boundary moves through that maybe a spotty shower could be had later today, midday into the afternoon. And Ginger, good morning to you. Thanks so much for joining in. If we do see any rain remaining through the rest of the day, it would be very light. And mainly focused in the southern parishes. Again, sunshine winds over. It's breezy through the daytime hours today. Skies clear tonight. It'll be chilly. Winds swing back around to the southwest pretty quickly. Kind of stops the cooling trend for Friday morning. We'll look at that again in just a minute. Weak trough ahead of another frontal boundary that passes through the area Friday afternoon. That sets us up for another cool down this weekend. I froze the image here because the Futurecast then kind of takes a side turn and it wants to develop rain along the coastline and even hints at some of that rain becoming snow along the coastline. Not in our area, off to our east. And I didn't want anybody else going, what in the heck's going on there? I will say some of the operational models have actually trended back with a little bit of shallow moisture Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. And some of them even hint at the possibility of maybe a snow flurry across portions of the Deep South, not particularly in our area, but across much of the southern United States, or to the point where I wouldn't be shocked for us to see maybe a flurry. And I'm talking about a really one-off, simply because there is going to be some kind of shallow moisture trapped in. Now, the problem is, as the colder air continues to move through the region, that air gets progressively drier. So again, it would be the equivalent of seeing, like I said, almost like drizzle. Look at that. And then that would be it. And even then, again, it's unlikely in any one particular location. Janet, good morning to you. But there will be some kind of lingering moisture that probably for most of us is just cloud cover. And that's what I have in the forecast for Saturday. I don't have any precip chances through the weekend. But I do have cloud cover on the increase for Saturday. So as we work this cold air in, there's going to be some moisture to work with, and it will probably, for most of us, just be in the form of clouds. We warm up a little bit this afternoon into the upper 50s to low 60s. Winds will be out of the northwest, and so we build that colder air in. Good morning. Top of the morning to you as well, John. Thank you so much for joining in. Upper 20s to low 30s to start the morning off. A lot of us will be below freezing to start the day. We will warm up a little bit through the overnight hours Friday and into, Thursday night into Friday, because winds will be back out of the south and southwest as early as Thursday evening. So instead of seeing an overnight of temperatures just continuing to fall, 35 to 38 may be about as cold as we get Friday morning, simply because we may be on a little bit of a warming trend through the morning thanks to those southwesterly winds. That pushes us into the low 60s. Good morning, Debbie. It pushes us into the low 60s through the afternoon hours on Friday. Then we bring that next cold front through the area. Temperatures fall into the 30s Saturday morning, top out near 50 on Saturday afternoon, and then you can see temperatures starting to fall as we approach the freezing mark again by Sunday morning. Most of us will be again below freezing by Sunday. If you're looking for any kind of prospects of precipitation, this is the forecast rainfall over the next 7 days. And again, I want to preface this map by saying a lot of areas have seen several hundredths of an inch of rain to even a couple of tenths of an inch of rainfall with the light rain that we saw overnight. And that is 5 to 10 to 20 times what is being forecast here. So that just shows how little rain is in the forecast over the next 7 days. Afternoon highs today in the upper 50s to near 60. Again, I think a lot of areas could see the 60-degree mark. We'll just call the winds west, because they will be southwest to start, then they'll become westerly, and then they will shift northwesterly behind the front later today. Rain chances no better than about 20%, maybe up to 30% along the Mississippi Valley and into our southern counties and parishes. Overnight lows tonight for most of us will drop below freezing, and it will be quick clearing. Mostly clear to clear skies as the clouds scoot on out. Winds will stay breezy, at least through the early part of the night. Those winds should die down a smidge as we head through the overnight hours and into the morning hours tomorrow. 7-day forecast is always made possible by 3B Hardware. Daytime highs upper 40s to near 50 on Thursday, near 60. Again, a quick warm-up on Friday ahead of that next front, which drops us back into the 50s Saturday and Sunday. Morning lows fall back into the 30s by then. Small rain chances back into the region early parts of next week. Jerry Sue asks, is the long range looking warmer than average? I'll tell you what, since you asked that question specifically, I'll give you the 6 to 10 day temperature outlooks. And again, I take these kind of with a grain of salt simply because they are, outlooks and they look at trends. And that's what you asked for, the trend. This is the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, which kind of starts to trend us back above normal toward the end of the month. And then the 8 to 14 day outlook, which goes even deeper into the end of the month, also trends us a little above average. Again, this isn't necessarily a drastic trend. If we had to point one direction or the other, we would say we probably will be trending a little bit warmer than normal by the end of the month. That's according to these outlooks. There are also a lot of signals saying that there will be some shots of cold air by the end of the month. So the other thing about these outlooks, which can be kind of, I don't want to say misleading, but say you're in a very active pattern and temperatures are warming up ahead of cold fronts, and then we're bringing these massive cold fronts through and we're cooling down. I mean, it's tough to kind of outlook that. And so those are how things sit right now. Again, I would take them with a grain of salt because they're not entirely overly accurate to begin with. They are, well, I say that. They're prone to errors. So just keep that in mind. I think the end of the month will be more active. The next 2 weeks, I think, will be more active than the first 2 weeks of the month. That doesn't necessarily mean colder. It doesn't mean winter weather. It doesn't mean severe weather. I think there will just be more frequent storm systems for us to deal with and work with as we head toward the second half of the month of January. And the way things are pointing out now, as we start to trend out of this La Nina pattern and into more of a neutral phase, El Nino, La Nina, neutral phase. We're phasing out of La Nina, which is unseasonably warm and dry, into a more neutral phase, which just kind of gives us our typical seasonal conditions. I think February is going to get really weird in the ArkLaMiss. Weird being, I think we're going to see a lot of wild temperature swings. I think our best shot of winter weather is probably ahead of us, not behind us. Does that mean we will see winter weather? No. I think our best chances of winter weather are still ahead of us. I think some severe weather episodes are probably waiting for us in February. I think February is going to be a weird month. It always is a weird month. And we'll see if I'm right or wrong. I usually don't like to make those big projections or make some kind of big fancy proclamation, but February gets weird. Forecast is always available at digitalweatherdesk.com and on the Digital Weather Desk app. Too Long Didn't Read comes out at 9:30. Again, I'm speaking with Sterlington Business Alliance this morning in about 40 minutes, so I should probably get a move on here soon. I'll join you midday, and we will join you later this afternoon. So if you can't join us at midday, I'll be back 4 or 5 o'clock this evening. Fish and Game Forecast comes out tonight. That's made possible by First South Farm Credit. And again, that's pretty much all I got for the rest of the day. We'll keep an eye on the radar, make sure any kind of crazy spotty showers don't sneak up on us. Joy, Evelyn, good morning. Peavy, good morning to you as well. Thank you so much for joining in and getting a look at the forecast. If you are joining in late, of course, this video will stop. It'll format. It'll be back out there again in internet land, so you can watch it at your viewing pleasure, and you can skip through what you need to see and skip through what you don't need to see. And I'll join you later today. Thanks so much for stopping by the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank. Enjoy your Wednesday, everybody.